Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Why don't we go ahead and get started? For the third week now, we're honored to be joined by Jeff, of course, talking to us about Cherokee culture and spirituality. And next Sunday will be the fourth and final submission with Jeff. I will be out of town, unfortunately, but I'm sure it will be wonderful time together with you all. And also over on the side, people here, there are handouts that I photocopied that are shot because that Jane shared, especially for last our Sunday session. So with that, thank you again, Julia. And
Thanks.
It
does.
Thank you. Thank you for large Brittany.
Sorry.
Had to get that inked. Yeah. Even the books that I write, they're long. Yeah, but it was way on this. We'll see how.
Let's see.
Such. Yes. It's like, so to clap him and get him. No, out of that.
Left hand.
Okay, somebody, give me a seat. I'm telling Dave, I'm tuned out. So, you won't hear me sing. But I was doing a class once with young children, so my grandkids class, and I wanted them to learn a little song. And I said, now kids, you may want to hold your ears because I sound like a sick cat. But here we go. And I sang the song and they called wild. And then this little girl said, "You didn't sound like a sick cat." Where's the bats? I came dressed traditionally today. You might notice. Don't normally wear this. I haven't worn this dress since 2008.
It was about time.
And that's when my daughter got married. She had two weddings, one in California where she lived, and then she wanted to have an Indian wedding too. So she came to our farm, and I officiated it. And this is last time I wore this dress. It's heavy. And it's cold in the winter, and it's hot in the summer. And I appreciate my ancestors for what they had to go through. And especially preparing a garment like this, because it wasn't easy to do that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you about this dress because it has special meaning to me. In the first place, my husband made it. And we made it in honor of my great-great-grandmother. She was an Indian woman who lived out back at Flat Rock, West Virginia, what's now West Virginia, in Cherokee family. Her husband got killed, and she had 8 children she cared for. And what she did, they did, had her kids, and she did a lot of hunting and trapping, and then skinned the animals and tanned them, and so that she can train them at the training post. And one day, she loaded up the mule with all of the skins, and she took off to go to the training post, and was never heard from again. She disappeared. And it's interesting, she had a sister, and her sister disappeared. And they went looking for her in the woods, and they saw a rooted up tree with flies buzzing around it. And they found that she had been murdered, stuck under that rooted up tree. So that's why this dress is special to me. It's in honor of the old ones, my family, and the things that they went through. And so, wado to them. Wado is the Cherokee word for thank you. Yikes. Not going to do too much with the drum today, but I thought we could talk about time. What time is. Not what time is. What time is. Because it has different meanings for different cultures. There are different ways of measuring time. It's always been there was a time when time wasn't measured in increments. You had your morning and your night. Sometimes you've had a few different times during the day. I'm hungry, let's eat, wasn't timed. We don't have to go into the history of time, although that's interesting. Actually, I was talking to my husband about this, and he said, oh, I read that book by, what's his name, Stephen Hawking. It's about time. And I said, oh, good. What did he say? It's Swanimo. The Western cultures say that time is a measurement of events from the beginning straight through to the end. Right? But isn't. And of course, the question is, what kind of a beginning? And then again, what kind of an end is going to happen? And in the meantime, we have our seconds, minutes, and our hours, and our days, and our months, and we measure ourselves based on those. But another question of this is time malleable? Can we change it? So we change time. In this country, in just 3 weeks maybe, we are soon to observe our semi-annual changing of the clocks. Spring forward. Is time that flexible? For our psyches, our bodies? Are we actually that cavalier to think that we can somehow affect time? Many years ago, when they were first discussing daylight savings time, there was a group of Midwestern farmers who said, you can't do that. An extra hour of sunlight is going to burn out our crops. And an old Indian said, it's only the government that can decide you cut a foot off one end of the blanket and sew it on the other and think you got a water. You're the best. Well, see, the dominant narrative that we all live under, the dominant narrative, the Western narrative, which is, especially in this country, a Christian understanding. The chronological understanding of time is revelatory in the sense that God began. And throughout history, God has revealed God's self. And the culmination, or the apex of those revelations, was the incarnation of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. A more secular understanding of time is in the way of measuring our days as progress. Humans have moved, they say, from a very primitive stage and have, God forbid we use the word evolved, to a more sophisticated stage And of course, we believe that we've reached the pinnacle of that. It's wrong not every day. That's true. We have our knuckle for that. We don't even have to watch the news. That as Ronald Reagan used to say on behalf of General Electric, progress is our most important product. And when I was a kid watching him on TV, trying to figure out what does that mean? In our current culture, of course, time is of the essence. Our days are ruled by clocks, from getting up in the morning to going to bed at night. Bells and buzzers, gongs, bings, dings, beeps. Even our watches go off at specific times, reminding us it's time to go to school, to go to a meeting, to take our medicine, to call our mother. There are so many divisions of time, timetables, blocks of time, going hours, anybody in the journey? Nap time, personal time, against time, in time, ahead of time, between times, from time to time, keep time, past time. And if we are not properly observant, we can be late, tardy, backward, behindhand, unpunctual, a 10 o'clock scholar. And yet there are different ways of thinking about time, living with time, and living our lives in the passage of time. The fundamental difference in perception of time can be experienced in the difference between Western culture and native spirituality. Because you see, for us, time is not linear. Time is circular. Oh, yeah, let me show. There are different ways of considering this.
Sunday walks.
Many different ways. Many different ways of walking, too. Like that, like this. Sorry, we'll put this right over here so we can see it. But for Indians, our time is circular. We don't believe that there was a point in time when this was all created. It's not part of our fundamental need to understand things. When it happened, how it happened. It perhaps happened. Perhaps there was a grand design. Maybe not. It's part of the circle that we live in. Time's not linear for us. It's circular. And it spirals, so that no 2 years, no 2 cycles are the same. But it goes, time just goes in a circle. We believe this is where we are in our world now. Well, this is the world as it was before. This is the world as will be for us. This is the upper world, the dwelling world, not a heaven and hell, where the upper beings live, where the lower beings live. There's not a sense of good and evil with those, but there is a constant interaction with all of these circular parts of time, constantly interacting with one another. So if you have an Indian who has a vision from the elders, that is the interaction of this world and foreign world. Is anybody here a physician? Dr. Ullman isn't here. Dar's over there trying to keep the sun out of his eyes. Why are you back? That's right. I was speaking once at Doctor's Hospital, and I told the physicians, if you have, they wanted to know how they can, be more responsive to any Indian patients they might have. And I said, now, if you go into a patient's room, he says, I had a dream. The elders came to me, and I am going to go on to the next world. They said, all you can do is just say, well, it's been nice knowing you, and leave. Of course, the doctors say, oh, we can't do that. But the fact is, if an Indian has this vision, this revelation, you're going to be going to the next world, you might just as well believe it because it's going to happen. They won't tell themselves it's not part of it, but they will understand my time has come and I'm going to walk or I had a very, very dear friend who was dying of lung cancer. And one of the little ceremonies they did at the time was gave her a bullet arrow which she can just barely pull. But she pulled it with the message to my ancestors, I'm coming to join you. That's the way our lives work when it comes to time. Circular. So, one of the things, if you have linear time, you can follow a cause and effect. Certain things happened in this country in 1912, and there followed this, and then this, and the result was a war. A chain of events, cause and effect, which you could see. In circular time, you don't see the precise moments that we could say, this is what caused this was the effect. It's in the way we think, cause and effect are not linear. Cause and effect are as circular as anything. I'm not saying this properly, but we don't say on this date this happened. We can't say that. We don't know dates. We don't keep the dates, just as there are very few of the old ones whose names we know. We don't keep that information because that information is not important to us. What is important to us is we had this event, and this event caused us, or not caused, but through this event, we learned how to live our lives differently. We could look at a very important date that we all experienced, 9/11. And we have exactly when that was. Has it caused us to change our lives, to live our lives differently, to rethink the lives that we are living? I don't know, but that was the community responsibility when something would happen, not when it happened, but this happened. Now, where should we go from here? What should we do from here? Our area, Ohio, is very rich in mountains. And many of those mountains, Indian mountains, many of them have been destroyed. But there are some left. And we've had a number of conversations with archaeologists and anthropologists and ethnohistorians, and they want to know, so when was this made? And if we don't know the year, they want to at least know the era. And the archaeologists I've talked to was, well, would you say these are Adena or Hopewell? No, those are white people's names that were given to particular areas. When they were made is not important to us. All we will say is, and we have to look very somber for this, right? Not a very long time ago. Well, who made that? our ancestors. How did they make that? Very carefully. But I think that's another. I live not too far from the Serpent Mound, and there is an organization down in southern Ohio that it's called the Arc of Appalachia, and they were building, making murals, sort of the history of the era. And anyway, they came to me and said, well, what do you think we should do for the when the Indians were here? And especially when I came to Serpent Town, they said, I have a vision. There are a bunch of elders sitting round in a circle, 7 elders, 6 of them down, sitting there thinking, visualizing this serpent. And the 7th is sitting there thinking, Starbucks. That's, we don't answer those kinds of questions because they just simply do not relate to us. And of course, therefore, there are those archaeologists, anthropologists, not trying to be insulting, but they think we're ignorant. And we think that they're asking us the wrong question. We just, except for the Mayans and the Aztecs, they kind of were really big on keeping history. A lot different than us. For us, time is measured by the seasons, by where the moon is, by the constellations. It's measured by the leaves on the trees and the migration of the birds. It is measured by the chill in the air. Must be winter, it's pretty cold out there. The snow on the ground, it is measured by the sun going down at night and coming up in the morning. So we do not have any mechanical means to tell time. In most of our languages, as a matter of fact, we have no words for time, for minutes and seconds and hours. Out of respect of the dominant culture, we've learned to tell time. And we've learned to be observant. As a matter of fact, it's insulting to us when somebody comes to a meeting late and says, oh, I'm on Indian time, because we weren't, out of respect to you, I would be at your meeting on time that you set. And so for us, Indian time was totally different. It's springtime, and it's winter time, and it's the dark of the night or the full of the moon. That's our turn. As Jamaica Hightower, authoring The Primal Mind, said, I can be on a mountain, I can be on television, but what does it mean to be on time? As Scott Molladay, the Kiowa writer, said, it is an interesting concept. I don't know that anyone can really explain it. I think instead of being something that passes by, it is static, and people walk through time as they might walk through a canyon, and one can pause and stand in time. It isn't something that necessarily rushes by. Although some of the elders have said there is no hand that can reach out and catch time. So time for us is oriented around our celebrations, our religious ceremonies, although we don't have a word for religion either. We don't have a word for worship. Our ceremonies are a part of our living, and we have no separate words for how we live, how we orient our lives. This is who we are. This is how we are. So our celebrations, the selfies, are oriented around the life cycle, the core. And next week I was going to talk about some of the ceremonies. So from planting time until the harvest, the cycle of ritual celebrates nature and pays tribute to nature's abundance and capriciousness, because we have bad years as well as good years. But it is through these celebrations, specific gifts of food given to us in specific places, that we believe God, our understanding of God, what we call the great mystery, is revealed in some ways. That is why in the diaspora of Indian people, and in these very turbulent times, great spiritual confusion has arisen amongst my people, leading to our ceremonies' beliefs being greatly corrupted. For Indians, the words of philosopher Heinrich Heine hold true. Religion grows thin on a land to which it has become a stranger. The way we talk about time and dates is from time immemorial. From time immemorial. Our lives have been bound up with the rhythms of Mother Earth. For ceremonies, our prayers are to honor this beautiful cosmos, to be grateful to and for all of creation. Our prayers are sung to the beat of the drum, to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Our feet touch the earth in celebration of what we have been given. Our songs are reflections of the music of the cosmos. But it is difficult to hear a heartbeat of Mother Earth when she is buried beneath asphalt and concrete and weighed down by tall buildings. But hear her heartbeat, we must, and we will dance our prayers to her rhythm, and through her heartbeat we will continue to make the sacred visible. We will make time visible in our steps, our songs. We will reunite ourselves with the magnificence of the creation which we have inherited and now seek to protect. We will become the essence for which we dance. Quote the poet Yeats, "O body swayed to music, O brightening lamps, how can we know the dancer from the dance?" Questions? Comments?
I would like, when my dad grew up in Farmington, South Dakota, west of Sioux Falls, when his grandmother was Atala, but that area was on an agricultural school time. They went to school in the winter and the summer. In spring was for planting, fall and all the schools were functioning. Fall was harvesting.
Yeah. Well, did anything I say make sense?
I just have a question. You might have touched on this the first week, but do the natives ever think about like their word God, or is it just getting in touch with creation?
God is creation. God is creation. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's no.
We don't have a personal relationship with God. We don't have a sense that we would not pray, "Oh God, please see me." It would be embarrassing to us because we know We don't have that kind of a one-on-one relationship with God. Instead, we have all of our ancestors.
Checking in. What I've heard you say is that ceremonies are about thanks, giving thanks, and hope, like for rain, for good crops, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But specifically not for ourselves personally. When we pray, for these things, it's for our village, it's for our community. This is the time of year that the elders, and this is back in the old days, the elders would go for Puno to find out how much food they've got, so that they could ration food to make sure that everyone in the village would be able to eat until, the first crops came. It's extremely, but, and it's more, we would say now subsistence level, but it was more than that. It was how do we help our community? And sometimes, if we're going to have rain all spring and not be able to plant, that's Mother Nature. That's nature. We have to learn to live with it. Yeah.
You said that the sun and the moon and the constellations are the way that they deal with time.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you have an event like a total solar eclipse? That's something that's different in the sky. Would that be something they would celebrate? Would it be something that they would fear or mark?
Yeah, and because you're because of what Judy's saying, it would be, unusual.
Right. Yeah, the spatial event like that, they could even say, oh yes, this happened when the star came from us. That creative, that kind of thing. And also lunar eclipses would be the same kind of thing.
But
Yeah, Keith. Hey, so I've heard the expression Great Spirit. Does that have some particular meaning, or is that just?
Some refer to.
Yeah.
Oh, fencing her.
Sorry.
I think that what has happened with the Christianity becoming so much a part of everyone's lives that even those who didn't actually want to say God, want to maintain a little bit of our own sense. So that's where Great Spirit would come from. And, like the happy hunting grounds, that's not. That's not something we would have said. But there are a lot of things, a lot of Indian beliefs that have been sort of enmeshed in Christianity, because in some cases there was no choice. In some cases, and certainly Pope Leo, I don't know what his number was, back in the 1500s, in his encyclical, go to these different places and convert the heathens, and if they won't convert, kill them. So there was ways that we found, which even now kind of confuse us. Yes, because I was visiting this one tribal group down where I live, and there was a women's drumming group, and they were going, "Women of the Bible." We got into a circle, to say thanks for the food, And the chief is going around, are you born again? Are you born again? You're born again? Okay, you say the prayer. That was last time I left. That's one I. I talked about the heartbeat of my. Our New Year's begins in October. Labor is beginning to rest to finish off of the year. When Mother Earth is beginning to think about long sleep, long dark nights. The birds have all taken off to places they could be safe. People, the little migrating animals that migrated, the ones who hibernate. This is when people in the old days used to prepare for long time. And then during winter, it was hardly hear the heartbeat of Mother Earth as she slept and then sleepy, reading the news. And about this time of year, you'd have some days, the sun began to shine, breezes began to fall. Those who have maple trees would go out and listen to the tree to hear if the sap was running yet. And Mother Earth would start to wake up, and the bears would come out of their caves, and they'd be hungry, and the birds would fly back and start making their nests, and all the people would rejoice and go out and begin to plant their gardens and move their crops and paint the whole world with a great deal of enthusiasm. And during the summer, there was so much work that had to be done to watch over the plants, to take care of things, and to watch the abundance of earth as it was spreading forth. Then, so spelling in, people needed to bring in the crops, rejoice in the crops that they're bringing in, and they began to look forward to the long, dark time when people would sit around the fire tell the stories. I brought this symbol of time. First time I went into the woods on our property, I found this. And we don't know if somebody actually drilled a hole or if it sat there for so long and something dripped into it. But this is a symbol to me of tried and word type. And this was a piece, the match, and it came through the council fires, the sacred fire of the Cherokee in North Carolina before the Trail of Tears. And the ashes were taken from that fire and were transported to where the people would cook. And then people would be able to get bits of it. And a whole bunch of that ash came up to us in southern Ohio. And, every year, we would rekindle the fire, but the piece of the ash from the old times. And I came into this particular piece, the ongoing secular nature. Wanda, which is thank you. Thank you. Yes.